Emily Carter arrived at Crescent Bay carrying the kind of exhaustion that sleep could never fix. The ocean stretched endlessly before her beneath a darkening sky. Waves folded against the shore with a rhythm that felt calmer than her own thoughts. She had spent months drowning inside routines that no longer felt meaningful, waking each morning already tired of the expectations waiting for her. Her apartment felt too silent, her office too loud. Between endless responsibilities and emotional distance, she had stopped recognizing the person she used to be. That night she came to the beach. She needed space away from everything that demanded something from her. She wanted air that didn't feel trapped inside walls, silence that didn't come with pressure, and a moment where she didn't have to pretend she was okay. She expected the shoreline to be empty, just her and the sound of the tide beneath the stars. But as she stepped onto the sand, she noticed someone sitting alone near the water. His posture was still, almost thoughtful, his eyes fixed on the horizon, like he was searching for answers hidden somewhere beyond the dark waves. When he turned slightly, Emily's breath caught instantly. Liam Dawson. The recognition hit her harder than she expected, stirring something old and familiar deep inside her chest. Years had passed since she last saw him, yet somehow her heart remembered him before her mind fully could. Back in school, Liam had never been the loudest person in the room, never the center of attention. But he carried a quiet kind of presence that people naturally trusted. They were never close enough to define what existed between them, but they shared enough moments. Enough glances in crowded hallways, enough conversations during ordinary days for him to remain fixed somewhere in her memory. While he left town chasing a future in Seattle, Emily stayed behind. Convincing herself stability was enough even as life slowly began feeling emptier. Seeing him there, now beneath the moonlight, felt unreal, like the universe had quietly arranged a meeting. Neither of them knew they needed. Liam looked older, not simply because of time, but because life had clearly left weight behind in his eyes. Still, when he spoke her name, his voice carried the same calm softness she remembered. Emily tried to smile naturally, but exhaustion lingered too visibly on her face to fully hide. Liam shifted slightly on the sand and admitted he hadn't expected company tonight. Emily answered honestly that neither had she. Something about the simplicity of the moment made the distance between them disappear surprisingly fast. She sat beside him, not too close, but near enough to share the quiet comfortably. The waves rolled steadily while moonlight spread silver reflections across the water, wrapping the beach in a strange peacefulness neither of them had felt in a long time. For several moments, they simply listened to the ocean without forcing conversation. And Emily realized how rare it was to sit beside someone without feeling pressure to perform happiness. Liam eventually glanced toward her, studying her carefully yet gently, and asked if she was okay. Emily let out a tired breath and admitted she was trying to be. He nodded immediately, like he understood the answer better than most people would. There was comfort in that understanding, comfort in being seen without needing long explanations. They talked slowly at first, cautiously stepping through memories of their hometown, old classmates, and the strange feeling of returning to places connected to younger versions of themselves. Liam admitted he came back because everything in Seattle had started feeling disconnected from who he really was. Emily recognized something painfully familiar in those words because she felt disconnected too. Trapped inside a life she built mostly to satisfy expectations rather than herself. As the night deepened, the honesty between them grew naturally. Emily noticed how Liam listened carefully whenever she spoke, not simply waiting for his turn to answer, but truly listening in a way that made her feel important. She found herself confessing things she rarely admitted aloud, how work had consumed her completely, how she kept chasing achievements hoping fulfillment would eventually follow, only to realize she still felt empty afterward. Liam confessed that leaving town never gave him the peace he thought it would. He spent years chasing success, bigger opportunities, and a version of happiness that always seemed slightly out of reach. The more he talked, the more Emily realized neither of them had escaped loneliness the way they once imagined they would. At one point, Liam removed his hoodie after noticing her shiver in the cold breeze and handed it to her without hesitation. Emily accepted it quietly, surprised by how comforting such a small gesture felt. wearing something that belonged to him created an intimacy she wasn't prepared for. Liam looked at her thoughtfully before admitting she seemed different from the girl he remembered. Emily asked carefully whether that was a good thing or a bad one. He smiled faintly and told her she used to carry a spark that made people feel lighter around her. Tonight she looked tired, but it also seemed like she was trying to find that spark again. The words struck deeper than she expected because they were painfully accurate. She had lost pieces of herself somewhere along the years without even noticing when it happened. Emily returned the observation by telling Liam he seemed different too. His expression softened with quiet sadness as he admitted life had changed him in ways he was still trying to understand. They continued talking while the ocean breathed steadily around them. The stars grew brighter overhead, and the beach became quieter until it felt like the rest of the world no longer existed. For the first time in months, Emily felt calm. Not perfectly happy, not magically healed, but calm enough to breathe fully again. Somewhere between shared confessions and comfortable silence, an invisible connection slowly began forming between them. It wasn't rushed or dramatic. It felt deeper than that, something built from mutual understanding rather than excitement alone. Then Liam's phone buzzed beside him, instantly shifting the atmosphere. Emily noticed the tension in his face immediately. His shoulders stiffened, his jaw tightened, and something heavy darkened his expression. He stared at the screen for several seconds before turning the phone face down in the sand. Emily asked softly if everything was all right. Liam hesitated before admitting things in his life were complicated. She didn't push him immediately, but the sadness lingering in his voice made it impossible not to worry. Eventually, he confessed that before returning home, he had been involved with someone in Seattle. The relationship ended, but not completely, not cleanly enough to free him emotionally from its damage. Emily listened quietly despite the ache forming inside her chest. She wasn't hurt because he had a past. Everyone did. What affected her was hearing how broken he sounded while talking about it. Liam admitted he spent years trying to save something that kept draining pieces of him until he barely recognized himself anymore. The message earlier had been from her. He hadn't even opened it because he couldn't handle carrying that weight tonight. Emily watched him carefully as the wind strengthened around them. Beneath all his calmness, she could see exhaustion, heartbreak, and fear tangled together. Yet she also saw sincerity. Liam wasn't pretending to have answers. He wasn't offering promises he couldn't keep. He was simply being honest, maybe for the first time in a long time. Emily stepped closer and quietly told him he didn't need to figure everything out alone. Something in Liam's expression changed then, his guarded walls cracking slightly beneath the gentleness of her words. He admitted that sitting beside her was the first moment in months where he didn't feel overwhelmed by his own thoughts. Emily's heart reacted before logic could interfere. The connection between them no longer felt accidental. It felt necessary somehow, like two exhausted people finding comfort in the exact moment they were both close to falling apart. Rain eventually began falling lightly from dark clouds gathering above Crescent Bay. Neither of them moved. The storm approaching over the ocean felt strangely fitting, mirroring the emotions both had tried hiding for far too long. Liam confessed he was afraid of beginning something new while still healing from everything behind him. Emily answered honestly that healing didn't require isolation. People could still find connection even while carrying scars. Liam looked at her as though those words reached somewhere deeply buried inside him. The rain grew heavier, soaking their clothes and darkening the sand around them, but neither cared. Emily admitted she didn't need guarantees from him. She wasn't asking for forever or demanding certainty. She simply wanted a chance to see where this unexpected connection might lead. Liam exhaled slowly, relief softening his face for the first time that night. He admitted she made him feel like he could finally breathe again. Emily smiled gently through the rain and told him then maybe they could learn how to breathe again together, one step at a time. They stood there beneath the storm while waves crashed behind them, the world around them loud and wild. Yet somehow the moment itself felt peaceful. Liam finally reached out carefully, brushing rainwater from her cheek with trembling fingers. And the softness of that single touch carried more meaning than either of them could fully explain. Emily closed her eyes briefly, feeling something shift permanently inside her. For so long, she believed life only moved forward by endurance, by surviving disappointment quietly and continuing anyway. But standing there with Liam beneath the storm, she realized sometimes healing begins unexpectedly, through honesty, understanding, and the simple relief of no longer feeling alone. The rain slowly softened until only a gentle drizzle remained. Clouds drifted apart overhead, revealing scattered stars returning to the sky one by one. Liam looked calmer now, lighter somehow, like speaking his truth had loosened something heavy inside him. He admitted he didn't know exactly where this connection would lead, but for the first time in a long while, he wanted to find out instead of running from it. Emily looked toward the glowing horizon and smiled quietly. The night hadn't given them perfect answers or erased the pain they carried, but it gave them something else, something both of them had nearly forgotten existed: hope. And as they stood together beside the ocean with the storm fading behind them, both Emily and Liam realized they were no longer searching for escape from their lives. They were finally beginning to find their way back to themselves and maybe slowly toward each other.